Not trying to make excuses, but man, has it ever been a long time since I wanted to make this one for you. Hello YouTubers, this is the noobifier. If you're a fan of the channel and watch regularly, you're going to know that I love to cover joystick controllers and other pieces of hardware along with tracking the continuing development of starcitizen. When searching for the upper end controller, there are a couple companies that provide this product type. When I recently reviewed the Virpil Alpha Prime, Virpil was able to take what I thought was already a great product and then push it to a new level by molding the grip out of metal and then upgrading some switches, something that a lot of people had been asking for. I do have that video up for you right now, but that Alpha grip is mainly interesting more for space game pilots, and it was almost as if Virpil waited for years of feedback before releasing the Prime. VMAX is doing this to polish other products, such as CM3 Throttle, but please don't forget that they're also fleshing out the Cadet lineup with a focus on high quality but on a budget. Today we're looking at VMAX Prime Throttle to identify how it's different than the CM3 Throttle. At the time of releasing the video, VMAX Prime is pre-order with a delivery beginning in January 2025. My initial reaction when I heard of this product was, what could they possibly change from the CM3 to make this new product better? So let's look into this. We begin. It's important to acknowledge that there are products that try to recreate or replicate the actual configuration of a specific aircraft. This is not what Virpil's doing. Virpil has decided to offer a more universal series of products with 3 distinct panels and now 3 different throttle quadrants, and I believe the intent is to support a very wide range of simulation without needing to buy new gear all the time. Priced from lowest to more, the Cadet keeps the same action, sensors, and quality, but sacrifices buttons and lift up the tents. CM3 is the 3rd version of the Mongoose throttle, which added front-mounted levers and a customizable detent system to the CM2. VMAX Prime Throttle isn't just a CM4 or a metal version of some other product. Based on feedback and research, numerous changes were made, and I believe that if you're more hardcore or a longtime fan of Virpil, this is going to make you very happy. If budget isn't really a problem for you, then you should always just buy the most expensive thing, right? But I'm going to say that for the rest of us, you can achieve as good of an experience with Cadet or CM3. You should be happy with any of these 3. So do research and choose wisely. And of course, you can do that research here with me on YouTube, because I have videos for all of these things. Virpil has always set a great standard for packaging with a boxed box, bubble wrapped, and everything arrives safe regardless of what the shipping company does. For once though, I should highlight that your normal Virpil unboxing is even better with VMAX. There's a prettier inner box, a better closed cell foam, and these products include a black leather-like style cover. You have the standard detachable USB wire. There are also 4 included feet, 1 for each corner if you decide to desk mount. The exterior has some other changes. The lower side incorporates an updated mounting slider which operates from front to back. This is like what we saw on the newer Cadet series, and it offers positional options that you may not get if you have CM3. All the bolt sizes are same across, and your existing mounting solution will still be compatible. It's just you can slide it forward or backwards. I must say that my test unit is early production, or what could be called a early release candidate prototype. It was demoed publicly at a Sim Expo, and then it was sent to me to check out. And I say this only so that if in the footage you see the occasional ding or scratch, that's not what you can expect when you receive yours. And despite this, I did take a look inside and I was quite shocked. I remember reviewing their first products many years ago with bundles of wires and sometimes a little bit of hot glue to hold things together. You're going to see none of that now. The electronic connections are made with a solid circuit board connected by terminals, and this level of design and construction would in theory never fail or be able to fail, and even would resist vibration. All of my flight systems are based on motion platforms which bump and vibrate a lot. The internal durability on display fills me with confidence that these parts will operate and survive no matter how they're used and what forces they may be subjected to. The all-metal base of this throttle has a completely new layout, new lighting, and updated switches. They do include a set of caps that can slip over the toggle switches to make it easy to tell the switches apart by feel. That's good if you don't want to look down or if you're using VR. When comparing this to CM3, the familiar red 2-position toggles and the metal 3-way switches have been replaced by sub-mounted switches. These new switches are flush with the panel and each incorporate their own lighting zone. These switches click nicely, and because they're now flush, your finger cannot catch on any of the threaded part because it's simply not there. The 5-position mode switch rotates from 5 to 1 o'clock instead of 10 to 2, and it also has custom illumination. The selected segment illuminates white to help you quickly see the position. The The two rotary encoders are basically the same as CM3, but they're now illuminated. The jettison button is lightly recessed and illuminated with a dashed circle. This was borrowed from the AH64 grip that I also reviewed, and it also has a solo momentary button labeled APU. So the base has some physical and aesthetic improvements. The throttle axis and flap lever each also incorporate a drag clutch to tune the resistance. These clutches are set similar to the CM3 gimbal and the Warbird D gimbal, with an Allen-style wrench that is needed to be pushed into a small adjustment hole. Internally, the friction system is large and looks to be built to last. We can move on to the throttle grip. It's metal, just like the Alpha Prime grip. It's based on the updated shape that we saw on the Cadet throttle, not the CM3. The metal grip begins a little bit cooler to the touch and then warms up. The inlay is firm, grippy rubber, like what we see on the Alpha Prime. This premium throttle definitely sets itself apart from Cadet and CM3. No sweaty palms and no greasy fingerprints will remain on the semi-gloss finish. The detent release levers have been moved from the front to the back, and you can actuate them with your thumb instead of an index finger, which seems to feel more natural. The actual detents work the same way as CM3 and adjust the same way with a set of included cam parts. New for VMAX, you can lift them and then hook them to disengage the detent effect, a nice touch that you only get on VMAX. If you currently use CM3, there are some bindings that have moved around a little bit, but everything feels a little bit tighter and a little bit more solid because of the metal grip. You can split one into dual quadrants with a non-locking slider, and this slider also has its own state for bindings. And now is probably the best time to break down all of the bindings at your disposal, the axes, and then a discussion of price versus quality. You obviously have a pair of smooth throttle axes, and as I said, there's a set of detents that you can apply depending on how you like it. These can be a simple haptic bump or a physical stopper that needs to be defeated by lifting up over it. Standard stuff for idle off and afterburner stages. You could also set a bump at 50% for space throttle. You can set a bump at 10% for low idle, and within reason, anything you need for whatever situation. There's the regular analog flap lever without any detent, but remember that this lever and the main axes have adjustable friction clutches that when off have no effect all the way to fully engaged and locking down. There are two axes on the thumb-mounted mini joystick that also presses in. There's an axis dial on the left with a 50% detent and press in. There's an axis dial on the top with a 50% detent and press in. I'm going to go through the numbered bindings as they're displayed in the current version of the software, but you should consider this as a beta because the device isn't released yet. And I'm just saying that because things can change. Binding number 1 is the right-mounted gray pinky momentary. Number 2 is the press down of the left analog dial. 3 through 8 are undefined in the current software. Number 9 is the front index momentary. 10 through 14 are the 5 positions of the front castle switch. You can push diagonally and get multiple inputs if you want. It's quite sensitive. You have to be quite deliberate if you only want one direction. 15 is push down on the top axis roller. 16, 17, 19 are 3 positions of a two-way that is mounted to your thumb. 21 is push in on the thumb mini joystick. 22, 23 are the 2 push buttons at your thumb. 24 through 28 are the 4-way plus push castle on your thumb. 29 is the binding on the lever that links the 2 throttle handles. We're moving to the base. 33 through 38 are the 6 illuminated buttons on the base. These 6 buttons come with decals that go inside. I have a video showing you how to use those. 39 is the jettison button. 40 through 49. These 10 are each of 5 bindings that are bound in pairs to those flush-mounted two-way toggles. 50 is the momentary button attached to the APU. 51, 52, 53, and 54, 55, 56 are the pairs of two-way encoders with push. And then 57 through 61 are the 5 positions of the mode switch. So, if you felt that the CM3 didn't have enough buttons, and you also feel that adding one of the panels isn't an option because of space or complexity, then the VMAX Prime could offer some expansion that you may be looking for. The construction is great. There's normally no flex in any Virpil component, and the improved mounting and frame make this even less of an issue with VMAX. The toggle switches operate with a nice tactile click and feel. The illumination offers another way to group features together for quick reference. The clear covered buttons include that standard set of decals which I spoke about, and as we come closer to the end of the review, I'm finding it a little bit harder than standard to describe VMAX Prime. Virpil has presented this as an even better CM3 and then target it to an even more pro level for sim pilots, the person who may want and demand the best. But the issue is that CM3 was and still is a great pro level throttle in my opinion. So when people ask for gear recommendations, I always ask them the same three things. What's your budget? How much do you play? And what types of flying are you planning to do? The recommendation isn't always going to be Virpil. Lots of companies offer a wide range of features. Not everyone can afford it, to be honest, and VMAX Prime is a new product ceiling for a very specific flight sim enthusiast. Originally, an even better throttle wasn't even something that I thought we needed, but we as consumers always win when companies continue to innovate and continue to push the standard. I'm sure that when one company makes something new, all of the other companies pucker up and get to the drawing board. Again, we win as the consumer. All three of Virpil's throttles work basically the same. They're all as good as each other for most application. If you have the budget, if you play for hours, or if you see features with this new product that you're missing, it might be time to pre-order this new addition to the Virpil family. The review for the all-metal premium flanker grip is coming up next. May actually be posted up by the time you're watching the video. I would like to apologize to everyone for the lateness of this review. We are and have been building a new house, selling our old house, packing up the house, and all of that is going to result in a brand new place, Studio 2.0, the correct workspace that will allow me to push the quality and quantity of content to a new level. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. If you liked the video, please share it with a fellow sim enthusiast who may like more details about the product. Fly safe.